I want to get Rick Wilson in as well, because the idea that Donald Trump may be sending signals somehow that Republicans had better stay online. I think to the sort of average person watching Republicans over the last 3 years, they get this sense that they really, I don't know if it's fear of him, I don't know what it is, they will not defy him. Back in the days when you were doing the work of sort of, helping with the communication from Republicans to other Republicans, what would that look like? And do you believe that that kind of a message was sent?
Look, Donald Trump, these guys live in absolute abject terror of Donald Trump. They don't want a primary. They don't want Trump to tweet about them. And they don't want Trump's crazy people to come out of the woodwork when he says, Congressman so-and-so doesn't support me enough. And they don't want their lives to turn into a burning Trumpian hell. Now, Steve's idea that these people all just leap up every morning and don their sacred robes and bow to the great orange god is completely absurd. None of these people down there, about a third of them are like the opportunists who want to play the game and get their legislative goals. About a third of them are the true cult believers, and the rest of them are absolutely terrified of Donald Trump every day. They loathe him, and yet they are trapped in this world with him. They can't move. They can't budge. They are so locked down by their fear of Trump's rage, of Trump's uncontrolled temper. He said earlier in the thing, he was describing Trump as a brawler and pugnacious. No, he is an extortionist. He is a bully. He is a president who happens to be in the Oval Office right now, but he's the first thug. This is not a guy who inspires love and inspiration. He inspires terror. And that's working for them right now. That works
Rick,
for this White House. And the reason...
I'd encourage you to go to a Trump rally because you'd feel nothing but
Thanks, Steve. If I want to do that, I'll just watch Nuremberg videos. But listen, here's the thing, Steve. Look, I know you're the apotheosis of Trump, and I know you love to talk to everybody. Steve, I know you love to talk to everybody. But Donald Trump, Steve, Donald Trump does not inspire. Donald Trump inspires terror in the minds of the Republican members of the House and the Senate. Donald Trump inspires terror in them because he tweets about them. He threatens them with primaries. He has altered the structure of the Republican Party and removed all the incentives that were ideological or political, and they are now based on fear of retention of their offices.
You just compare.
I know. Steve, wait.
You just compare the
deplorables over me, Steve, because I will continue to roll, and you will not be able to do it. Steve,
you just compared them to Nazis. By the way, the last time I was on,
the Donald Trump methodology is to continue.
Steve, everybody stop. Steve, you've been on TV before. You've been on this show. You've been on CNN. You understand the principle of TV is that if both of you are talking at the same time, no one can hear either of you. Allow Rick to finish his thought, and then I'm going to give you time. You understand how this works. I know you've had a microphone on and been on TV before. Please let him finish his
Why am I only being admonished and not Rick?
Because you're talking while he's talking. Let him finish, and then I'll come back to you. Go ahead, please, Rick.
Over me, brother.
Go on, Rick.
Look,
finish.
Again, Donald Trump does not inspire fear for no reason. He does it deliberately. It is a deliberate strategy. It is used frequently by authoritarian leaders in this world. The members of the Senate and the members of the House know the fundamental rule. Don't be the first guy to stop clapping when Saddam is speaking. Don't be the first guy to put your head up or it's going to get cut off. And that has happened to an awful lot of Republicans. We lost 42 Republican seats in 2018, and a lot of those people were the ones who dared to say something about Trump and then got slammed from the right by Trump's people and lost their seats. He is a guy who governs entirely by fear in the minds of those people in the House and the Senate.
Let's go ahead and have her, and now you can respond, Steve.
Okay, so Rick continues with these insanely insulting terms. And by the way, I will tell you this. I wear your scorn as a badge of honor. I really do. And this kind of condescension from unlikable elites is one of the reasons we won in 2016 and a reason we're going to win again. But for you to compare hundreds of thousands of Americans who've been to these rallies, these wonderful Trump rallies, for you to compare them to Nazis, for you to call us crazies. The last time I was on TV with you, you called Trump voters toothless rubes. For you to continue to use all of these terms of derision and all of this condescension, it only reinforces the need, unfortunately, in this country, the need that we had for the electoral revolt of the America First movement. And yes, we needed somebody to lead that movement who was a fighter, and he is at times indelicate and brash, okay? And he can at times be offensive.
Hold on.
But he has also produced results for this country like we have never seen before in only 3 short years, particularly for the people who needed it most, working class people, minorities, people with less education. And all the while kept America out of disastrous foreign interventions. That is the America First agenda.
Let me just say, before I move on, and I'm sorry, I need to get all of our guests in, but Steve, I asked you what you thought of Donald Trump using childish nicknames against members of Congress, including the Speaker of the House. And you said that was perfectly fine comportment. So I'm sorry if people are giggling a little bit when you turn around and say to a member of your party that he is being derisive in names that he's calling other people. So what you're saying is that when the President of the United States, in a tweet, which is essentially an official pronouncement from the President of the United States, uses goofy nicknames for people, that's fine. But if Rick Wilson uses nicknames or says things about Trump voters, then he's wrong. That's a bit hypocritical.
That's hypocritical. There's an important distinction
hypocritical.
Here.
Oh, because the president can do it. Okay.
No,
it's hypocritical.
I'll tell you why it's not hypocritical. For example, notice I didn't criticize anybody saying nasty things about Trump. Why? He's the president of the United States. He can take it. And in fact, I think he thrives off of the antagonism. But that's very different than attacking millions and millions of patriotic, hardworking Americans. OK, it's very different for people who are in the game, who are in the arena, who should be heavyweights. For them to trade punches, it's a whole different thing for Rick Wilson and a lot of other condescending, smug elites